So at this point, I'd like to introduce Aries and the presentation by James.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Right. Well, I won't go. I mean, Stefan's presentation was actually really good. I mean, if I wasn't involved in Fluorspar, he would have pushed me towards buying into Fluorspar. So, but just to talk a bit about the American market itself, because that's where we're concentrated at the moment. As Stefan mentioned, they're importing 100% of this mineral from abroad. He also mentioned they were importing about 500,000 tons, but I think that underlies the true numbers because they're importing a lot of fluorine and hydrofluoric acid as well, plus refrigeration units and items like that. And that's why fluorspar has been classified as a critical mineral. And it's got that designation because it basically means it's vital to the security of the United States of America. And so the reason why it's so important is it does go into things like steel, aluminium, refrigeration units, fluorine. Stefan mentioned again the medical applications as well, like asthma inhalers, where that one mine was supplying 80% of asthma inhaler active ingredients. It's becoming an increasingly difficult mineral to source. There's only several countries in the world that do it. I think I can count about 7 of them at the moment, and hopefully, thanks to our mine, we'll be joining that list very shortly. Even though it is abundantly distributed throughout the earth, finding economic concentrations of fluorspar is very difficult and it's very rare. And you get the very significant market difficulty of the demand rising much quicker than the supply can meet it. And so yeah, let's go to the next slide very quickly. So the American market breaks down a little bit into the acid spar and the met spar industries, but predominantly 2/3 of the market goes into the acid spar market, which is what we've tailored our project to try and do. So as soon as we've got hold of this stuff, we've been running metallurgical tests to create the acid spar product, and I'll talk a bit about this in a second. But I'll go on to the next slide and talk a bit about the background of this. So the way we actually came across this project wasn't deliberately going out to try and hunt fluorspar. It was because we were after a project that was close to production, that was close to cash flow, ideally permitted, and it's obviously very difficult to find all of these things. But one thing we did notice is that we got a technical report came across our desk with about a small mining operation in the state of Utah, and they were taking fluorspar out of the ground and not processing it and just selling it direct to steel mills. So their average grades must have been 70 to 80% that they're getting out of the ground. And this was very intriguing. So we took a trip down there to meet me and my geologist just to have a look around. And what had actually happened in the past is that the whole this mountain range, which is completely full of fluorspar, had had about 50 different claimant holders. But they'd all died because they'd mostly been mining in the sort of 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they sort of passed on, and the whole mountain range had become available. And everyone's radar was off fluorspar. So before we bought out the mine, we went and staked everything along the entire mountain range where we could find fluorspar, and like it was everywhere. Like we, I think a half-hour walk across some of this territory, we kicked up like 7 fluorspar pipes. Whereas demonstrably purple, almost certainly high grade, and we got obviously quite excited about that. And we've been staking ever since on anything we can find. And recently, the geologist, he back calculated how the mountain range originally appeared, so we could work out where all the pipes were. And from doing that, we knew all the areas to stake, and so we've been continuously doing that to get hold of the mine itself. And the mine itself, the guys who were mining it were also getting on in years. They were nice chaps, but they were looking to get out. So we brought them into our company, and we vended this project into Aries in February 2020, and we completed the amalgamation agreement and got trading about 11 months ago. And since then, we've done quite a lot of work. So we'll bring up some of that. All right. So the first thing we needed to do is on the permitted mining area. We did some initial drilling just to drill out the 2 ore bodies which we were going to attack to begin with. And so these were the ones that the guys have been artisanally mining. As you can see, those are our drill holes that we put in there, and we've constructed a 3D model of the fluorspar deposit back to back with each other, and that gave us sort of a couple years worth of production, which is all we really needed. And the histogram on the right of that diagram, that gives you an idea of the grades we were getting out of there. So they averaged about 70 to 75%, which is really, really rare. You don't really find that very often. Usually deposits of fluorspar, you're looking in the region of sort of 5 to 15%, somewhere around there. Like the big mines down in South Africa, Zimtu, which had $100 million invested into it, I think they're at about 10%. But this was the reason why the guys were able to just take this stuff out of the ground and sell it. And so obviously we saw money signs, and it also means that it's not an expensive process to upgrade these averages to the acid spar grade. So, all right. I mentioned a bit earlier how we worked out the original mountain range, how the thing would have looked before it slid and slid into sections. And that gave us an idea of where all the pipes would have originally occurred and where they would have been displaced to. So we made an approximate map, and we sent a junior geo walking around the mountain range, confirming a lot of the sites at top, and we put over 100 pipe locations onto our claims areas. We also staked a couple of other things that we'd missed that we picked up as well, and that gives us an enormous amount of potential mining sites for the next few years. In fact, we're at the permitted areas near the top. It's that most north central collection there of pipes. That's where the permitted areas at the moment. But if you look on the most northeast collection of pipes there, that's going to be our second mining area. That's the Bell Hill claims. The good thing is, because this is a critical mineral, we get all of our permits fast tracked, so we can start mining as soon as possible. And then while we're doing that, we can put that second mining site into production and have the two mining operations going along concurrently. So while we've been doing this, we've been oh, you jumped a slide. There we go. While we've been doing this, we've been the mining engineers have been putting together all the mine plans based on those initial diagrams of how ramps are going to look, how extraction is going to look. And our metallurgists have also been working in the background to create some acid spar. So I've just taken the 4 most recent metallurgical grades for acid spar. We were just trying to aim for that 97% and hit the required values. We can now routinely produce it. We're just working on recoveries of the acid spar at the moment. But to give you an idea of the progress on this at the moment, we were able to produce a 99.9% grade fluorspar if we want to now, and we've also we're looking at how met spar occasionally does creep up to be over the cost of acid spar. So we've refined our met spar production process as well, where we can produce a high grade met spar with over 90% recoveries. So it just leaves us more product for selling. It leaves us higher margins, and we sit very comfortably in. With what's going on at the moment. So this work, just quickly, this work is going on alongside Keith Minty, who's on this call at the moment. I saw he's our lead project engineer, and he's doing all the mine works, and then that includes infrastructure designs, plant ordering, equipment designation, and that's all going on at the moment. And we've put some orders in for different items. So with the intention of going to mine later this year. So next slide. Project location. So thankfully Utah is very mining friendly. We sit just about 3 hours south of Salt Lake City. We've got main roads going all the way up to the mine site. Our industrial estate has water, gas, and electricity already. We've even got rail running through the property, so we can use that. And we've spoken with Union Pacific about shipping to some of the offtake partners that we're talking with at the moment. Another good thing about Utah is that there's a lot of grants in place at the moment. So we're speaking to local governments, and they're very keen to get behind us and back this. So yeah, it's pretty lucky it's there. And final slide. So yeah, I've mentioned a bit about going into production. We've been gearing up for that for quite a long time, and that's where our focus is at the moment. So it's thankfully we don't have a lot of capital costs compared to a lot of other operations, because it doesn't need a lot of infrastructure. It is essentially taking very high grade out the ground, and very simple process to get it to industrial grade requirements. We just need to crush it, grind it, and put it through a flotation system, which is very old technology and very simple. And because the product's very pure, it doesn't have any sulfides, it's very high grade. Coming out of the flotation, we hit 97% very easily, and we can go above that if we want. We're just going to get into mining as soon as we can, with an estimate of about 5,000 tons of acid spar a month. I've written $500 a ton there, but it's creeping up more than that. So some of the brokers in Utah are talking about $600 a ton at the moment. And once we open up that second mine site at Bell Hill, then there's no reason why we can't go to 10,000 tons a month.